At 3:33 a.m., the elevator doors slid open again. The button for floor 8 was still glowing, even though no 8th floor should exist. The hallway was silent, except for the sound of a coffee cup still steaming, as if someone had just been there. In part 1, we reached the floor the hospital swore didn't exist. We saw the door to room 812 standing open. My reflection disappeared from the glass, and in the shadows, something was waiting. Now, in part 2, I'm going back, because once you've seen the 8th floor, it doesn't let you leave. The photo of the boy wouldn't leave my mind. Not his shape, but the way he didn't belong in that room. The lighting didn't match. The perspective was off. He wasn't part of the picture. He was inserted into it. And then there was that single word on the back. Soon. What does that even mean? Soon what? I scanned the photo and ran it through a metadata checker. The timestamp said it was taken in 2004. I would have been 12. Something about that felt close. That week, the printer kept going. Not every night, just at odd hours. Always just one page. Always the same paper, same font, same spiral watermark faintly pressed into the lower right corner. Subject 811, non-compliant. Delay noted. Next opportunity, 3:33. I never told anyone. Didn't even try. I knew how it would sound. You think a hospital that doesn't have an 8th floor is stalking you through your printer? Yeah, no. So instead, I kept the pages, all of them, stacked neatly in a manila folder marked Receipts. I figured if anyone ever found it, that would be easier to explain than whatever this actually was. But then, things started showing up in my phone. Voice memos I didn't record. Just static. Faint, rhythmic thuds, like a heartbeat echoing through drywall. Sometimes a whisper, but never words I could make out. Just the shape of language. The most recent one was 11 seconds long and ended with 3 sharp tones, like a bell, but not a church bell. Too clinical, too intentional. I checked my location history. Apparently, I'd been at the hospital every night between 3 and 4 a.m. I know for a fact I hadn't left my apartment. So either my phone was lying or I was. One night, I set up a webcam. Just faced my bed. Left the lights off. Let it record from midnight to sunrise. I watched the footage the next morning. At first, nothing. Just me, asleep. Turning occasionally. Breathing. But then, around 3:17, a flicker. The screen glitched, just a frame or two. And when it cleared, there was something in the room. Not a person, just a presence. A blurring, like static, shaped into the outline of a figure standing at the foot of the bed. No details, no eyes, just absence. It stood there for 33 seconds. Then, gone. I didn't sleep for 2 days after that. The third day, I caved and went back to the hospital. Broad daylight. 1 a.m. No ghosts at lunch hour, right? I went to the East Wing, where the pediatric recovery wing used to be. It was empty. No patients, no nurses, just rooms with the doors left open. All clean, but untouched, like the whole floor had been paused. Room 814 was there again. I hadn't expected that. I thought maybe it was something I'd hallucinated, misremembered. But no, there it was. Same chipped number plate, same hallway smell, bleach, old paint, and something too sweet. I stood outside the door for a long time, then opened it. Same room, same gurney, same old intercom panel with the spiral etched into the corner. But this time, something new. A folder, right on the bed, labeled Observation Notes, Subject 811. It had my name on the first page. Not Subject 811, my actual name. Date of birth, address, school history, medical file, notes from therapy sessions I barely remembered attending. A section labeled Behavioral Drift, and below that, an entry from 3 weeks ago. Word for word, something I'd written in my own journal. I flipped to the final page. One sentence. Subject beginning to question floor integrity. I backed out of the room. Didn't run. That felt important somehow. Just walked out. Made my way back down the corridor. When I reached the elevator, I pressed the call button, but it didn't light up. Instead, the up button lit itself. The doors opened. No one inside. Just a faint hum, like the sound a fridge makes when it kicks on, but colder. I didn't get in. Let the doors close. Outside the hospital, the sun looked too bright, like the contrast had been dialed up too high, shadows too sharp, colors faded. I sat on the curb, folder in hand, thinking about what it meant to observe someone, to watch them not for answers, but for their limits, their compliance, their silence. Back home, I opened my laptop, logged into an old email account I hadn't used in years. One new message. No subject. No body. Just an attached image. The same photo of the boy from the file. Only this time, he was facing the camera. Same waiting room. Same window. But now his face was visible, and I recognized it. Not as a kid I knew. Not someone from school. It was me. Not as I am now. As I was in 4th grade. I still have the scar on my chin to prove it. I don't know what that means. I don't remember ever being in that room, but that's me. And the timestamp on the photo is May 18th, 2004, my 12th birthday. I didn't sleep that night, not because I was afraid of what I might see, but because I didn't want to see nothing. I didn't want the footage to show me still in bed all night, unmoving, while that version of me, the one from the photo, kept doing things I couldn't remember. By 5 a.m., I deleted the webcam footage, not out of fear, out of resignation. I knew the hospital would keep better records anyway. That morning, I went to the archives downtown. City records, blueprints, zoning permits. I needed to know who designed the hospital, especially that wing, especially the 8th floor that doesn't exist. The clerk handed me a roll of microfilm. "Hope you've got good eyes," she said. "That wing's been renovated so many times, most of it's just redacted now." I almost laughed. Of course it is. ... I spent hours squinting at blurry scans of building permits, rewiring diagrams, old Xerox maintenance logs. There was one page from 1992 that caught my eye. A floor plan for an expansion. What should have been labeled as the 8th floor had instead been marked interim buffer level. And in the corner, handwritten in pencil, "Not for patients, not for staff, emergency use only, internal frequency holds, observations to be logged in code only." There was no name, no signature, but the handwriting matched what I'd seen in the folder from room 814. I traced the blueprint with my finger. There it was, the waiting room, the hallway, the elevator shaft, and then a section that shouldn't exist. A narrow corridor behind the stairwell. No door, no windows, just a tunnel. It had no room number, just a designation. DFR Sync 811. I snapped a photo of it with my phone, and when I looked at the picture, that part of the blueprint was gone. Just empty, beige paper, like the lens couldn't hold it. I called a friend who used to do contract work for the city, asked him if he'd ever heard of interim buffer levels. He was quiet for a second, then said, "You mean ghost floors? Ghost floors?" "Yeah," he said. "Like in old hotels, sometimes they leave out the 13th floor for superstition, right? But in government buildings, it's different. It's not about luck. It's about clearance. About access. Access to what?" He paused, then said, "Let me guess. You've been dreaming about stairwells." I called a friend who used to do contract work for the city. Asked him if he'd ever heard of interim buffer levels. He was quiet for a second, then said, "You mean ghost floors?" "Ghost floors?" "Yeah," he said. "Like in old hotels. Sometimes they leave out the 13th floor for superstition, right? But in government buildings, it's different. It's not about luck. It's about clearance. About access." "Access to what?" He paused, then said, "Let me guess. You've been dreaming about stairwells." I hung up. Didn't press. There's a tone people use when they don't want to explain, when they've already explained too much. I knew that tone now. I'd heard it in my own voice. That night, I walked past the hospital again. Didn't go inside, just watched. From across the street, there was a window on the 7th floor, right where the stairwell would be. It wasn't lit, not like the others. It glowed differently, a softer hue, like a nightlight, like a waiting room that never closes. And behind the glass, a shape, still, back turned, facing a wall. I stood there for an hour. It didn't move. once. Back home, I pulled up a map of the building, measured the floors by window count. 7th floor had 9 rows. 9th had 9. The glowing window? It was in the 10th row. No matter how you looked at it, it was an extra. I started to remember things I hadn't thought about in years. Like the time in 4th grade, I went missing during recess for 45 minutes. Teachers thought I'd gone home. Parents thought I'd stayed at school. I don't remember where I was, but when they found me, I was behind the gym, sitting on a stair that led nowhere. I told them I'd been watching the blinking lights. No one knew what I meant. I checked my printer again. 1 new page. Different this time. No spiral. Just 1 line. You have always been room 814. The next morning, my building manager asked if I'd been using the laundry room at night. Apparently, someone was running cycles between 3 and 4 a.m. Only problem, I don't have a key to the laundry room. It's kept locked. I asked him to check the security camera. We watched the feed together. 3:33 a.m. The door opened. No one entered. No one left. But the washer started spinning. And just as it did, a small red light blinked once in the top right corner of the screen, like an eye adjusting, then static, then nothing. I went back to room 814, in daylight this time. Security guard didn't even glance at me. The hallway looked shorter now, like the door had shifted closer. Inside, the folder was gone, but something new sat on the bed. A mirror, handheld, oval. Its back was covered in dust, but the glass, perfect. Except when I looked into it, it didn't show my reflection. It showed the window on the hospital's 10th row, and that figure inside wasn't facing the wall anymore. It was facing me. I didn't sleep after that. Didn't even try. I left the mirror on my desk, face down, covered it with a towel, wrapped it in duct tape. Still felt like it was looking at me. I kept remembering the label on the blueprint, DFR, Sink, 811. I couldn't shake the feeling. It wasn't just a designation. It was a record, a file number, a name. I searched online for DFR Sink 811. Nothing. I tried forums, Reddit, government leaks, hospital complaints. Finally found a cached version of an old forum post from 2009, flagged and deleted. 1 line. Sink 811 triggered. Retrieval failed. Await reorientation. No context. No replies. Just that. And then another thread from months later. A username I didn't recognize, but it felt familiar, like a typo of my own name. They posted, "What happens if subject 811 remembers?" No one answered. I went back to the hospital that evening. Didn't bring the mirror. Didn't bring a camera. Didn't bring anything but a notepad and a name tag. I found in my junk drawer. It didn't have my name on it. It just said, "Visitor. Access granted." The security guard was gone. No one at reception. Elevator still broken. I walked the stairwell again, counted the floors out loud. 1, 2, 3. My voice echoed more on the 7th floor. 8. But this time, I didn't stop. I kept going. 9, 10. Then a landing that shouldn't exist. No number on the wall, just a door. No knob, no card reader, just a small indentation, palm-sized. I placed my hand on it. Like last time, it opened. The room was circular, windowless, ceiling too low, carpeted but damp underfoot. 12 chairs in a circle, hospital-grade gray plastic. All empty, except one, across from me, occupied by me, or something that looked like me. Hair shorter, shirt stained, same face, but wrong posture. It didn't react when I entered, just stared at the space where I'd be sitting, as if waiting for me to complete the loop. I backed away. It didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe, just sat. Then it raised one hand and pointed to the chair beside it. I looked down. The seat was labeled, "Witness, late re-entry." I sat. Not because I wanted to, because I was tired of running, of forgetting, of circling. A screen descended from the ceiling. No projector, no cord, just fabric stretched tight, humming slightly. Images began to flash, snapshots from my life, but not how I remembered them. Photos of me, watching myself, at age 6, outside the school where I went missing. At age 13, staring into a bathroom mirror as someone stood behind me, only visible in the reflection. At age 22, asleep in bed while a spiral appeared in dust on my ceiling. Then, the hospital room. Room 814, with me in the bed, surrounded by 3 people, all wearing face shields, holding tablets. They were smiling, and I was smiling back, but my eyes were closed. The screen went black, then one final message. "Congratulations. Subject 811 has reached observational awareness. Cycle completed. Loop integrity compromised." A siren didn't sound. A bell did. 3 chimes. I stood up. So did the figure in my seat. We faced each other, and for the first time, it blinked, but not in sync. Its blink lagged, like a delayed broadcast. Then it smiled. My smile, but wider, more practiced. The lights cut out, complete black. Not like the power went out. More like the room itself closed its eyes. And then Silence. Not a quiet room. A removed room. Erased. When I came to, I was in my bed. Home. Fully dressed. My phone said it was 3:34 a.m. and the mirror I'd wrapped was on my pillow. Unwrapped. Face up. I checked my files the next day. All my hospital notes, gone. My notepad, blank pages. My email history, every message with the words subject in it, deleted. Printer log, empty. Just one printed page still in the tray. A single sentence. You were the study. You are the study. You will observe again. I haven't gone back. Not physically, but every night I dream of that floor. And not as a place I visited, as a place I work. Filing things, sorting names, labeling chairs, each labeled, returned, paused, retained, looping, and one chair, always empty. Escapee. The window still glows on the 10th row. Sometimes I stand across from it, just staring. Sometimes I see someone there, a shape, watching. Sometimes I wave. Sometimes it waves back. I don't know if I'm outside looking in or inside trying to leave, but I know this. They never wanted to trap me. They wanted me to see. And now that I do, I'm not afraid. I'm just waiting for someone to knock, for someone to ask the right question, for someone to remember that the 8th floor was never empty. It was just between things, and someone has to stay there to keep the lights on. The lights are on, but the floor remains between things. Stay with the story. Follow the echo of the pale signal. Subscribe. Share the shadow. Like if you remember.